to help improve wellbeing in the workplace, the Duke of Cambridge has launched a new mental health initiative. The online portal is going to offer information, advice and training. But this morning we're asking, do employers need to be doing more? The Duke of Cambridge certainly thinks so, which is why he has helped with this advice. Joining me here in the studio to talk about this, founder of Sanctus Mental Health Support, James Routledge, and the mental health campaigner, Tamana Mir. Good morning to you both.
Morning.
Morning.
Now, James, tell me a bit about what Sanctus does when it comes to mental health in the workplace.
Yeah, so we founded Sanctus to change the perception of mental health. Our view is that we should all treat our mental health like we do our physical health. So we want to inspire people to work on their mental health. Yeah, like we do our physical health. With our physical health, we go to the gym, we go on runs. You know, we don't just wait until we're really ill or we're fat or we're out of shape. We've taken a much more proactive approach. So right now, we work with businesses to help them create an environment where it's okay and it's normal to talk about mental health. And we do that by placing Sanctus coaches into the workplace to provide a safe, confidential, impartial space for people to work on their mental health. So Sanctus coaches are kind of like personal trainers for your mental health, essentially.
Tamara, it's interesting, isn't it? Because there is a more open and honest discussion about mental health. The Duke of Cambridge and the Royal Family really backing this campaign, which helps to put it to a wider audience. But the problem comes when workplaces don't get it yet. So people are talking, but the next step is what can be done to help them.
I think there's a number of things that can be done. I think we obviously need to have an open and honest conversation about mental health, whether it's from the younger generation or the older generation. I think a lot of things can be done, like flexible working hours, having a plan in place in terms of if there's a crisis, if there's somebody that needs help, making sure that you can have the honest conversation with your line manager, or if you can have a peer mentor or a buddy at work that you can go and talk to, having things like flexible working, as in, like, if you need some time off for family or if you need to de-stress, that sort of thing. I think you can also have workshops and talks and presentations in the workplace in terms of healthy lifestyle, healthy eating, you know, how to live a well-rounded life. There's so many different things that you can do.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, have you got personal experience of this? Because I'm just thinking of younger people who are comfortable talking about mental health now, and if they go into a job interview, they might still be a little bit reluctant to bring it up and go, look, you know, sometimes I struggle with whatever it may be, because you think employers are going to go, well, actually, we've got someone who hasn't got mental health problems and they're not going to take time off. And it opens that whole Pandora's box, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's really funny you say that, because I'm kind of in that position myself. I'm kind of looking for a job at the moment, and I am debating whether to say, you know, I've had mental health problems in the past. Do I tick the box on? And I think a lot of young people have that anxiety, as in, you know, they don't want something like mental health or physical health to prevent them from getting a job. And I think there's a huge stigma around that, as in, should we tick that box? Should we disclose it? Should we not? What are the consequences? Some people say you should tick the box, you should tell the employer after you've secured a job and gone past the interview stage. And some people think, actually, no, we'll tell them later on in the job. So it's kind of a bit of a juggling act, really. It's up to people's preferences. But I do think that we have to be honest and open as much as we can, and open to new approaches and ways of doing things. Yeah,
I mean, James, I think most people will agree employers should do more. But what can they do? What practical measures? Because there will be some people, in fact, so many people are tweeting us this morning saying, my employers just don't get it. They are not interested and I'm being treated really badly at a point when I'm at my lowest.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, that's the case for a lot of people at the moment. And I think what kind of really needs to change on a kind of a wider level is this kind of cultural shift in our perception of mental health. At the moment, we've still got quite a kind of antiquated and negative perception of mental health. And even still, a lot of the conversation, even today, is very much focused around this kind of 1 in 4. You know, 1 in 4 of us will suffer a mental health issue in any given year, where actually, you know, the biggest statistic, which really we should be talking about, is 4 in 4. Like, we've all got mental health. You know, everyone in this room, everyone watching, like, we've all got mental health.
Yeah,
and
some of us might be in good mental health, others not so much. There are various degrees of health when it comes to a mental state.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if employers can start to open their minds and understand that, actually, I think what they'll see is that, you know, when someone's going through a difficult time in their life, that doesn't mean they're not capable or they're a bad person. That's kind of just life.
And Tamara, you were talking about sort of the cultural shift and looking at it under a whole umbrella rather than an employee getting to the point where they have to take time off work. So is it about creating an environment where, I mean, I've got people tweeting me going, you know, my employers offer yoga sessions, mindfulness classes, flexible working. It's about creating a culture that actually helps people before they get to breaking point?
Yeah, for me, every time I speak to young people, and not even young people, the older generation as well, it is about creating that culture where we can have an open mindset and actually we can talk about having new measures in place. So, you know, it's all about early intervention and prevention before somebody gets to that really crucial stage where they have to take time off, they are signed off sick, they are in hospital, they are feeling suicidal. So it is really about intervening with some of those, you know, having a cup of tea, for example, having 5 minutes out of the day, taking the time to talk about your issues, or even doing a positive activity, whether it's exercise, healthy eating, lots of different things you can do. And I think in the younger generation today, I think it's really, really difficult. There's a lot of pressures on us to find a job, to meet the standards that society set for us, and all within a set time frame as well. So it adds on to the extensive of anxiety and depression and all the rest of it.
And James, one of the arguments that is always brought up when we discuss this is that it costs employers. If they have an employee who is off for personal reasons, as it's called, it should be okay to say I'm off with mental health issues. It costs them money. Is that a myth? Because that's what a lot of people worry about. Small businesses getting in touch with us going, it costs me if somebody's off with mental health problems.
It's not a myth. It's kind of a cold hard fact. You know, it's costing the British economy 30 to 40 billion pounds a year. Again, I kind of make the argument that also there's a massive missed opportunity for businesses, because as an employer, if you create an environment where mental health is supported and accepted, you're going to attract the best talent, because now people don't want to go to work and pretend to be something they're not. They don't want to puff their chest out and leave their personal life at the door. You know, people, especially the younger generation, they want to go to work and they want it to be aligned with their values. They want to feel purposeful in their work and they want to be able to kind of show up and be themselves. So if as an employer you can make a commitment to mental health, you're going to attract and retain the best talent, and you're going to get the most out of people.
OK, well, that's a great note to end on. James Routledge at Tomonami, thank you very much for coming in to discuss that. The Duke of Cambridge throwing his weight behind it. He's launched that online portal today to help employers help their employees when it comes to mental health. As James pointed out, we've all got it, just got to look after it properly.